Hi LEGO fans! With the release of the new Avengers movie, Avengers Endgame, I thought it was about time I reviewed one of the new Endgame LEGO sets. And being a particularly good merchandising partner, LEGO has released not one but 5 new sets. We got set number 76123, Captain America Outrider Attack, 76124, War Machine Buster, or as I prefer to call it, the Hulk Buster in grey, 76125, the Iron Man Hall of Armour, which is getting all the adult fans of LEGO excited, 76126, Avengers Ultimate Quinjet, and there's even a polybag out there, 30452, Iron Man and Dummy. But today I'm going to be unboxing, speed building, and reviewing set number 76131, Avengers Compound Battle from LEGO Marvel Avengers. I'm not crazy excited about the new movie, but I am crazy excited about Big Figs. The 699 piece part count includes 2 Big Figs, Thanos and Hulk, 4 minifigures including Iron Man, Captain Marvel, Nebula and Outrider. We also have an Ant-Man microfig. One of my first impressions about this set is that it's a very big box for 699 pieces. There's definitely some fresh air in the box, but thankfully not too much. This set features an epic battle at the Avengers Compound with the Hulk taking on Thanos. Taking a look at the compound building itself, this may well explain the low part count for the set. I can see a lot of panels and structural pieces rather than individual LEGO bricks. That may help to explain the 8+ recommended age range. I may well be jumping the gun here, but the look and feel of the set does feel like one of those 4+ sets. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but I'm sure we'll learn more as we get into the review. Over on the back of the box we get a closer look at the features of the set. It looks like LEGO is making it really easy for us to lose pieces. We've got spring-loaded shooters on the roof of the compound, a pair of roof-mounted stud-firing guns, an Avengers 4x4 with even more stud-firing guns, and at the front of the helicopter we have a 6 stud-firing shooter. I'm starting to wonder how much of the 699 piece part count is 1x1 studs. Inside the compound we have a meeting room with fancy glassware. It's a perfect place for the Avengers to hang out and talk about last night's Game of Thrones. There's also a helipad where the helicopter can get reloaded with studs, a convenient rooftop seat for the Hulk, and a garage with working roller shutter doors. We also have a selection of tools, but I'm not really convinced that billionaire Tony Stark does his own welding. There's a cool rotating door, and a safe protected by laser beams. But best of all, we've got not 1 but 2 Big Figs. What other reason could you need for dropping $100 on a LEGO set? It's almost time for the speed build, but before we do that, let's open up this box and see what we've got inside. Here's everything that came inside the box. We've got 6 numbered bags of LEGO, a boil in the bag Thanos, and a boil in the bag Hulk, a 167 page instruction booklet, 8x16 and 16x16 grey base plates, a tiny little bag full of fire elements, and of course the obligatory sticker sheet. I'm going to go ahead and put together the Avengers Compound Battle, and today this is going to be a 90-second speed build. And here's a completed Avengers Compound Battle set. Build time was 1 hour and 21 minutes, and apart from a couple of awkward stickers, this was pretty simple to put together. It's also a pretty cool looking and substantial playset. The Avengers compound itself is almost 12 inches wide, and with the helicopter sat on the helipad, this tops out at about 6.5 inches tall. As a fun LEGO product, this ticks all the boxes. We have a cool playset, there's an awesome helicopter with guns, a 4x4 vehicle with more guns, and even more guns. Probably not the kind of LEGO set a pacifist would buy. It has good display ability for adult fans like me, and for minifigure collectors this is a bit of a treasure trove. We've got 4 great minifigures, Iron Man, Captain Marvel, Nebula, and an Outrider minifigure with 6 arms. We also get not 1 but 2 big figs, which is what really attracted me to this set. And we also get a teeny tiny little Ant-Man. In fact, we get 2 little teeny tiny Ant-Mans. We've got a lot to cover here, so here's how we're going to go about it. Firstly, we're going to be taking a look around the Avengers compound, and we're going to be checking out the Avengers 4x4 and the Avengers helicopter. We're also going to be shooting stuff all over the film studio, which I'm sure is going to go really well. After that, we're going to take a look at those amazing big figs, take a close-up look at the minifigures, and finish up with Ant-Man. That shouldn't take too long. I can't wait to take a look around, so let's get to it. So this is the main part of the set where all the action happens. This is the Avengers compound. We have several different areas we can use for imaginative play. While some LEGO sets are purely for show, this one is definitely all about playtime. On the ground floor we have this rather impressive glass-fronted lobby. There's also an opening front door, which is a little bit fiddly. And we also have this keypad entry system, which to be honest seems a little bit low-tech for the Avengers. Also out here in the courtyard we have a selection of tools. It looks like we've got an oxyacetylene torch, a wrench, a crowbar, and a grinder. We also have another one of those difficult to open doors which gives us access to the garage. The garage provides a convenient place to store the Offroader. And to stop anybody stealing it, we've got one of these barriers. It's actually quite neat, and I like the use of black and yellow alternating Technic elements. There's also a really neat mechanism to keep it standing upright. We have this clip to limit the range of motion and a ball on the end to make it look pretty. There are also transparent orange elements on either side of the gate to warn people when the Offroader's coming out. The Offroader is a cool looking thing and ticks all the boxes for a LEGO car. It's assembled on a robust chassis piece, so it's not going to fall apart under spirited play. It also has a very satisfying rolling action, which is so important for a toy car. The front of the Offroader looks very cool with these bull bars and the trans yellow headlights. We have sporty off-road tyres with flared wheel arches, and the obligatory Avengers stickers. Seriously though, I do like the elements that surround this. That added detail gives the car a really rugged look. Around the back we have some more detail, including the trans red brake lights and a stickered registration plate. If this were LEGO City, that would be the number of the set. Often these will carry the LEGO designer's initials, but I've not been able to confirm that for this set. Looking down on the Offroader reveals more cool details. The hood has some really nice texturing, and inside we have space for one minifigure with a driver's chair and a steering wheel. It's much easier to put a minifigure inside when you remove the windshield. There's plenty of room in there for Iron Man, but I'm surprised he's not flying to where he's going. Of course I saved the best for last, and now it's time to demo those stud-firing guns. These come complete with a viewfinder, which is a stickered element, and there's a rotating platform which can accommodate a minifigure. We have a pair of stud-firing guns here, and these are the simplest kind. All we do is snap a stud into the end of the chamber, and then use these little levers here to fire the studs. You can even angle these up and down so you can hit your target. With the Avengers Offroader out of the way for just a moment, it gives us a chance to poke around inside the garage, or garage as we call it in Great Britain. The entrance is just the right size for a vehicle to drive inside, and we have this roller shutter door. Apart from the fancy door, the garage space really is bare bones. It's very literally a space where you can park the Offroader. We have that slightly tricky to open door and a couple of windows, but apart from that it's very bare inside. The only other notable features are the slopes at the back, which stop the car rolling straight out of the back of the garage. I can imagine that being quite frustrating if you were playing with this on top of a table. We do have a ramp out front, which makes it easy to push the Offroader inside and really adds to the play dynamic. Those slopes at the back of the garage really are a nice design feature and should stop the Offroader taking any unintended tumbles. Outside of the garage we have this communications dish, which kinda reminds me of LEGO Space but in a completely different colour. In particular, I'm a huge fan of that transparent orange dish, it looks amazing. This swivels and pivots up and down, and I'm sure it provides a great communication link to the helicopter. Speaking of which, the helicopter sits on a convenient helipad which is mounted on top of the garage. It's picked out with the large A for Avengers symbol, which is unfortunately a very large sticker. The really nice thing is those rails at the front and the back which hold the helicopter firmly in place. And when I say firmly, I mean really firmly. The helicopter itself is a good looking thing, and I really appreciate the addition of the 6-stud shooter on the front. We'll come back to that in just a moment. Working from the top down, we have the rotor blades. These are attached using ratchet mechanisms, which of course means they're adjustable. I'm not entirely certain this does anything useful, but it's a thing. Also on top of the rotor blades, we have a couple of trans-red studs and a radar dish. Unlike traditional helicopters which come with a rotor blade for stability, the Avengers went with this fin design. It certainly looks very sleek, and we have a pair of powerful engines on the side to create thrust. Attached to the right rail, we have a brick-built fire extinguisher. There are also some decorated side panels, but it's a little less obvious what those are for. Maybe they fold up to provide some kind of step to get into the helicopter. On the left, we have a matching side panel and a katana sword. This might give you some clue as to who the pilot of the helicopter is. To gain access to the cockpit, we simply lift up the canopy. The inside of the cockpit is a bit sparse and consists of a stickered computer screen and somewhere for the minifigure to sit. If you guessed that Nebula was going to be the katana-wielding pilot, then well done. She sits inside the cockpit perfectly, and there's room to close the canopy. Now for the fun part with this 6-chambered rapid-fire stud shooter. This attaches quite easily to the front of the helicopter, and you can pull it off just like so. These things are really simple and use a chamber in the middle with a little fin to pop the studs. Thankfully, LEGO provides extra studs, as these things tend to go everywhere. The only thing I don't like about the helicopter is the way the body's attached to the rails at the bottom. It's a little bit flimsy and it keeps coming off when you're handling the helicopter. Also up on the roof with the helicopter, you've guessed it, more guns! These are mounted on some rather nice girder elements and are pointing down to protect the perimeter. Each of these can be rotated and pivoted up and down. The action for firing the studs is exactly the same as the ones on the Offroader. And one more time. After landing the helicopter, there are some steps and a walkway to get to the building. Instead of a normal door, we have this really cool revolving door. It's a half cylinder with a turntable at the bottom and a turntable at the top. Debriefing is really important after a top secret mission, and as such the revolving door leads directly into the meeting room. This is equipped with a circular conference table and some fancy glassware. Looks like Nebula's hitting the Prosecco a little bit early today. Over on the back wall we have a screen monitoring security at the Avengers Compound, and it looks like Outriders preparing to attack. The good news is the Avengers are well equipped to defend themselves. There's a secret compartment. You guessed it, more guns! The meeting room is really light and airy thanks to these large floor-to-ceiling windows. We also have another Avengers symbol, this time on a printed part, but no such look around the side where this is a large sticker. On top of the roof we have lots of air conditioning vents and more guns. These are spring-loaded shooters in a really nice transparent blue colour and sit on a rotating turret. These are spring-loaded and activated by pressing down the tail. They're also really rather effective. The projectiles come equipped with this notch which engages with a spring. The springs are located within these 1x4 elements. And the rest is easy! I'm really not sure why there's a big hole in the roof. I'm sure Nebula doesn't like rain in her Prosecco, but it does provide a convenient place for the Hulk to sit and get involved in meetings. It looks like Hulk just got volunteered to arrange the next office outing. Back down at ground level we come full circle on our Avengers Compound tour. And there's something rather interesting hiding behind that smoke glass window. Inside the front door we have a laptop which seems to be running some kind of security surveillance software. That thing looks familiar. It's kind of difficult to see, but I think there's an infinity gauntlet hiding behind those lasers. The lasers can be deactivated by swinging this down, but it looks like Thanos might have forgotten the security code. Or maybe nobody ever told him. There's a convenient handle on the side of the wall which Thanos can't technically reach, so you'll have to use your imagination here. The good news is I can reach it. This is a bit of a massive security flaw, but the laser beam protected safe can just be wrenched free from the side of the building. This reveals the Infinity Gauntlet, which seems to be missing a few stones. I guess the incomplete Infinity Gauntlet raises a couple of questions about the plotline of this set. Maybe this is a flashback scene to a time when Thanos didn't have all of the Infinity Stones. Or could it be that the Avengers managed to recapture the Infinity Gauntlet? Or maybe Tony Stark and his billions of dollars manages to invent a time machine? I guess we'll have to see the movie to understand. I think we've just about covered the Avengers compound, so let's move on to those big figs. Big figs are so called because they're big figures. Well, duh. In fact, these guys stand about 2.5 inches tall, which makes them about 1.75 times the height of a minifig. Although less than 2 times the height, they are considerably bigger. And by big, I mean beefcake. Although it was only last year we got one of the Thanos big figs from the Infinity War sets, this is actually a different figure. He comes with this very impressive buildable warhammer, which is made out of about 15 LEGO elements. It's a little bit awkward, but it does snap into his hand. Big figs are supplied disassembled and are made out of 7 LEGO elements. Kids often take these apart, lose the pieces, and that's what helps to keep the resale value high. The main body is made up of 3 pieces of plastic. You can see the join line down the side here, and then there's a 3rd piece of plastic here for the head piece, which is moulded out of this metallic gold plastic, which is really nice. And then we got some printing on there for Thanos' face, which is very sharp. Not as sharp as the printing on the front though. We have some considerable armour here representing Thanos' abs, I'm sure, and that is very nicely done in metallic gold. That is the only printing. Around the back we're just contoured for the shapes of his body, and that is Thanos' body, legs and head. From here we have to insert 2 Technic parts into the side of the body. These are going to be used to attach the arms. The arms have a matching cross-shaped receptacle and simply push onto the side of the body. We've got another one here, and there we go. The hands come with a connector already attached, and just like you and me, we have a left and a right hand. These simply snap into the receptacles at the end of Thanos' arms. I guess this is a perfect time to show you the Infinity Gauntlet. This is moulded from a single piece of metallic gold plastic and comes with 6 holes. These are for mounting the Infinity Stones. Now we do get 2 of these with the set. We've got the purple one and the green one, I don't know their names, and these actually come on one of these snap-off plastic pieces. So we actually get 4 of these for the green and the purple, and I guess if you already bought the Infinity War sets from last year, these same Infinity Stones would fit this Infinity Gauntlet, so you can have 2 of them. I didn't buy those, so I don't have the extra stones, but this is a cool piece. It doesn't come with an adapter in the end there for the arm, so we get one of these black connecting pieces, and then we pop that in the end, and we can simply take off Thanos' hand and replace it with the Infinity Gauntlet. The Hulk big figure is constructed in exactly the same way. In fact, I think the hands and the arms are exactly the same mould, if not a different colour. The torso, head and legs are different however. The Hulk has a very different head, and he also comes with an impressive 6-pack which Thanos just doesn't have. Thanos has printing but not the actual texture. The head is moulded from green plastic and black plastic and helps to give the Hulk that really styled look. He also has a really cool facial print. I love the fact that the Hulk is almost smiling. The Hulk's pants are overprinted, and if you look very carefully you can just see some bleed through from the blue onto the green. We also have some very subtle overprinting in black on the front of the pants, which shows some lines, I guess, from the creases in the denim. Another thing to point out is that the feet of big figs have 2x3 anti-studs, so you can stand them on base plates, and always watch out for the LEGO logo if you're buying these second hand. Big figs really hold their value and are well worth looking after. I could probably sell these big figs today for 25 bucks. That's about 25% of the cost of the set. So a lot of adult collectors will buy these sets, take out the big figs, take out the minifigs, and then part out the rest of the LEGO elements for Bricklink stores. The sets with big figs and with dinosaurs tend to be very good investment pieces. As well as 2 big figs, we also have 4 minifigures: Captain Marvel, Iron Man, an Outrider, Nebula, and a microfig Ant-Man. Captain Marvel is another name for Captain Carol Danvers, who is a former United States Air Force pilot. She was exposed to the energy of the Tesseract, whatever that is, and obtained cosmic powers. This is presumably why she can shoot plasma out of her hands and feet. There is a Captain Marvel movie currently in theatres, and apparently it's helping Marvel to shift bucket loads of tickets for Avengers Endgame. Captain Marvel comes with a bunch of these trans orange pieces which look like fire. You can attach these to the bottom of her feet and then use this dish to make it look like she's flying. There are also other pieces that you can attach to her hands to make her look like she's shooting plasma. These are really cool and attached to the hands using these clear grip pieces. Captain Marvel's uniform is very crisp but quite understated. We start at the bottom with a pair of dark blue legs. These are not printed and she's got these red hands on here. Now the torso printing is really nice. We've got the kind of dark blue outfit there, but it's complemented with kind of red accents here. She's got a red belt and some metallic details. I like the metallic details around the collar here, the dual gold printed star there, and then the continuation of the detail around the back. It's really sharp, really nice. Yeah, the face looks pretty good. She does look like the character from the movie, and if we turn her around, we do have an alternate expression, which is a little bit blank, to be honest. The hairpiece I don't think is new. I'm pretty sure I've seen that before, but it does complement this Captain Marvel minifigure really nicely. Of course, we have yet another Iron Man minifigure and a couple of blue trans elements to give the illusion that he's hovering above the ground. Iron Man's suit is exquisitely printed with lots of gold and silver detail. I'm guessing this is a Mark 50 suit, but I'm sure you'll let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. Around the back we have more of that metallic printing, picking out the exoskeleton of the suit. The arms are made out of metallic gold plastic and come with these red hands. And then we have the Iron Man helmet with those freaky blue eyes and the lift up front. I've got a feeling I've seen that expression somewhere before. Tony Stark's head is definitely not exclusive, as it also comes in the current free gift with purchase at the LEGO store. Yep, that's definitely a match. The alternate expression adds a heads up display which looks really cool. We get that very same expression with the micro-scale Avengers Tower set. This looks so cool, but I just don't think I'm going to get enough time to build it. I almost forgot to mention that Iron Man has some cool accessories. In particular, he can shoot bursts of energy from his hands. Now these are single moulded plastic pieces in this trans blue, and they just snap into the minifigure's hands. And then you simply give those a squeeze and it kind of pushes the accessory out of the minifigure's hand and fires it. So let's give that a try. And one more. Very cool. Next we have one of the Outriders, which is a particularly freaky looking minifig. These guys have leathery black and yellow skin and most have 4 arms, although some like this have 6. The face lacks any sign of visible eyes and those razor sharp teeth are enough to make your skin crawl. There's some more metallic gold detailing on the back of the head which really pops against the back plastic. We also have one of these backpack-like attachments on the back of the body. This fits between the head and the shoulders and allows you to clip on those extra 4 arms. It also totally covers up some really sharp printing on the back of the body. That is so cool. We have similar printing around the front with lots of gold metallics, and this really gives the appearance of torn skin, letting the inside show through. I thought the Outrider looked familiar, and this is not the first time it's appeared in one of these sets. We also got the same Outrider with set number 76104, the Hulkbuster Smash Up. You'll find a review of that set on my channel. And finally, for the minifigures, we have Nebula, who is played in the movies by the lovely Karen Gillan. Nebula is wearing this rather fetching Avengers themed uniform. Now this does seem to be a thing. Referring to the Avengers Ultimate Quinjet, Rocket, Hawkeye, Black Widow and Thor all wear the same uniform. And in fact, Ant-Man is wearing a miniature version of this uniform, which we'll take a look at in a second. It's beautifully printed and I love the continuity of the print down through the body and onto the legs. Now this suit seems to be made up in several different layers, which I guess would be appropriate. We've got this kind of yeah, this is really interesting, very finely printed with these little metallic dots on. We've got this kind of overlayer there, we've got some boots on, and then around the back we have this metallic piece, looks like a kind of body armor or exoskeleton, and then underneath that we have some kind of jumpsuit or flight suit with the Avengers logo. It all looks very cool indeed. Speaking of cool details, we do have this awesome facial print for Nebula. It's printed onto one of these pale blue minifigure heads, and then we've got some darker blue overprinting there for the face, and some really nice metallic details for the, I guess, the android features that are attached to Nebula's face. Now, LEGO does seem to have a problem printing all the way around a minifigure's head, and as you can see here, we've got a rather, I won't say ugly, but it's an inconvenient gap there between the features on the front and the back of the head. We do also have some features on the back here which look very, very neat indeed, and then on the front we've got the eyes, which have a kind of soulless appearance to them, and then the little pursed lips there. And that is a very awesome Nebula minifigure. Finally, we have Scott Edward Harris Lang, aka Ant-Man, this tiny little microfigure, and as you'll see, it is considerably smaller than the Nebula minifigure, but it is wearing the same outfit. I'm just going to take Nebula out of the way for a moment and we'll test the camera's focusing abilities to limit. So this is a standard microfigure. You've seen these before. You can see the head is kind of dipped in silver paint there, and then we do have a tiny little expression on there. I really can't see this through the camera, but I'll try and zoom in on it in post-production and hopefully show you that face. But very, very cool printing here, and I love the way that that matches the Avengers costume. That is so cool. Now, just to give you a comparison with somebody else, if we bring in Baby Groot here, you'll notice that a microfigure is exactly the same size as one of these kind of baby minifigures. Really, really cool to get one of these in the set, and we do actually get two of these Ant-Man microfigures, because let's face it, you're gonna lose at least one of them. So that was set number 76131, Avengers Compound Battle, one of the new Avengers Endgame sets from Marvel Superheroes. This is the most expensive of the 5 Avengers Endgame sets, so it does have a lot to live up to. Having 2 big figs is a very good start. These easily justify at least $25 of the price. If you have these guys, do play with them, do enjoy them, but don't lose the pieces because they might be worth money in the future. Having a good selection of minifigures is also a good thing, and my favourite from the selection of 4 has to be Captain Marvel. It's also a really nice touch that we get 2 of those Ant-Man minifigures. Another solid value proposition for this set is the Infinity Gauntlet, which is quite collectible in its own right. But then in terms of play value, we have this awesome Avengers Compound set. This adds a cool helicopter with guns, a fun and very functional 4x4 with guns, a garage and helicopter pad to store them with guns, a really cool office building with guns, and we even get a cool laser beam safe to store the Infinity Gauntlet. So overall, this is quite an expensive set with a low part count, but it does have a lot of great features. In fact, it's quite unusual for the most expensive set to have less pieces than the next one down. Avengers Ultimate Quinjet has 838 pieces, and this one only 699. I do have the Avengers Ultimate Quinjet, and if you'd like to see a review, be sure to hit that like button. I really hope you enjoyed this LEGO Marvel Superheroes unboxing, speed build and review video. If you did, please don't forget to drop me a like and subscribe for more awesome LEGO content. Also check out the other videos on my channel, there are a lot to choose from. Thanks a million for checking out today's review, stay safe, and we'll see you on the next build video.